we're going to get into some more Spelljammer token production here. Give me a moment here just to check my signal. Make sure everything is up and running. There, it looks like it is. Make sure everything is up and running. There, cool. All right, great. If you follow me on Twitter, I've just posted that I'm live on Twitter. So if you want to find out when I'm live in the future, you can follow me on Twitter at Phil Kearney. I'm going to hit some Discord channels here real quick before we dive into actual production here. So, but if you don't know who I am, if this is the first time you've been here, hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I build PDF RPGs, RPG supplements as PDFs, and I publish them on the DMsGuild. There's a link in my description down below to a stack of books that I've already published previously on the DMsGuild. You can check the link down below, and the reason I mention it is not only do I want you to become familiar with my work more broadly, but to point out that if you click on the eye icon if you're on mobile, or on the full preview if you are on desktop, you can view all those books 100% cover to cover. And if you like the cut of my jib, please consider purchasing, because this book too will be 100% preview for you to review all the mechanics, but obviously things like the tokens, the maps, the stuff that we've been producing, all these assets, they'll be in a zip file that you get along with the book. Yeah, so I mean the art assets are going to make this thing pretty great. But this is the book cover we created back in the I think back like around episode 25, 23, something like that. But right now we are working on ship tokens, specifically this goofball, the Beholder Tyrant ship. It's basically just a hollowed out asteroid that they've mounted a bunch of Ice Stalk laser things to. Now don't look too closely at the details. They've always been there since 2nd edition. But it's a goofball ship. So I'm going to continue our endeavor. Let me just let's see where we are at with. We'll just use dark here, and here. I'm pretty happy with those highlights. So let's see, how's this thing structured? Like, how does this nonsense work? We've got the black and white, and it's a little different icon, but I think it should be pretty easy to identify, so I kept that. It's not actually hollowed out. Let me take that back. Hold on. Yeah, no. The command deck. Meditation deck. Okay, so there's a And stalks are on the command deck, while the... Okay, well, we gotta take that meditation stuff seriously. So, 1, 2, 3. Where are those at? All right, cool. Let's go to... body. I'm gonna pluck that out. There. All right, cool. So let's what we want to do, like here, here, and here. Hey, Hornetica. Looks like a pufferfish, sort of. Well, this ship is interesting. Yes, it is. If you hadn't seen it, it's a tyrant ship. It's just basically a hollow bell. Oh, that's weird. Hold on. Endless suffering. Come on, dude. Thank you. Right on. So base here. Come on, buddy. Make the thing do. Here we correspond. And then we correspond here. And then this here. And then this top deck thing here. And then... So this top deck thing... Tech is failing me today, my friends. Roughly, yeah. So those things sit on the very top of it. But I want to take a moment to look at this again. Checking to see to hollow deck. Let's see. Arcane access shaft. Meditation chambers. Command deck. Yeah, okay, so the command deck that caps off. So, okay, cool. So there's an enclosed surface at the top. That makes sense, because otherwise there would be light inside of here, and there isn't. So, okay, that tracks. I was just trying to make sure I knew where we were heading into this bold new horizon. So it looks like I'm on point. I'm just going to leave those there for a minute. Yeah, it's just a bunch of beholders that fly around inside this thing, causing terror. Got 10 ice stalks, which means it basically has 10 ballista that it can fire. And of course, if you get close enough, it starts spewing beholders at you, which is a nightmare scenario. So, cheers to that. Right, let's grab this. Copy that in. I don't know what's up with these weird meditation chambers at all, man. This is like just kind of like sticking out of this thing. Like a goofball thing. Goofball is my word for the day. We're talking goofballs. Talking goofballs. Let's take that up to 80. Let's see if I can make this thing blend in a little bit. And then we'll highlight and cap it off. And then we'll do our ice stalks and then we'll be done. Oh boy. Yeah. Send that up a little bit. I don't know. I'm kind of experimenting here. We'll see how it goes. You know what? That's a really great point. Before I start putting those we need to look at where these ice stalks are going. That is absolutely the right place for me to be right now, is checking out ice stalks. So I'm going to rewind that for a second and get back into this. That probably means I need to take these in a touch, like that. So they're further down on the horizon line. Push those down so I can create some more space. And I need to push them down so that the horizon, the further down. Hold on. Yeah. This is correct. There we go. All right, when we confirm that space enough, we'll lock that down with true texture and all the yada yadas. Yada yadas. All right, we'll go with that. Now back on point with this. Let's go to the background so I can see what I'm doing. Reference. Body. That's an easier way to do it. Okay, cool. That feels right. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 10. Cool. build a wall space where these are merging into. Blend that all in. Just like that. Nice. Push that out here. Pull that forward like that. There we go. Pull that down a little bit. Bruh. Now we can start looking at this again. I don't know how am I stay on screen today? That sounds like a cool idea. All right. What I haven't done is set a timer. So let's get a timer going. Got 80 minutes. Bop, there we go. Let's zoom that in a bit. That should be the better solution for my face. Be more relaxed, Gurney. Relax. Nice dogs. What a wonder. Yeah, there's an we have arcane cannon in here, which is basically a magic siege weapon, and the way that it works is you can use a cantrip to do scaling damage, like D3, eventually up to a D12, but you can't use iterative attacks during your action to fire it. So they can only fire once per round, as opposed to like commanding a siege team that you can load and fire a ballista or a catapult almost as frequently, depending on how high you're rolling on your command die, as frequently as you can make attacks. And so most of the ballistas do D6 times 10 damage. Mangonels do D8 times 10 damage, and if you can find them, trebuchets that do D10 damage. Then you got the arcane cannon, which is like I said, you're casting, you're basically amplifying a cantrip damage through the arcane cannon to do D3, D4, D6, D10, and then D12 damage at like 17 plus. So you get the 1 to 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 12, 13 to 16, and then 17 to 20. You're like at the top rank. It's D12 times 10 damage when you fire it, but it's eating your action for the round to do that. So it balances out against, like, say at 17th level you've got somebody in a ballista firing probably 3 times around doing D4 times 10 damage, or by that point you guys have probably upgraded to mangonels and trebuchet, which are doing D8 and D10 damage. So the martial types, quote unquote, that would most sensibly be commanding siege crews to attack. They're getting more action economy to make more attacks per round that generally out damage what the casters are doing. But like an Eldritch Knight or somebody that takes the feat to gain combat cantrips could obviously jump onto an arcane cannon and use their action to fire volley all the same. So it's the ice stalks here operate the same as eye cannons. They do D10 times 10 damage because beholders are the 4th rank according to their CR. So they're automatically doing D10 times 10 damage every time you have a beholder. But you can only have one. Beholders are not obviously, but beholders. It takes 1 beholder per ice stalk. So you need to have 10 beholders running around inside of here, willing to work together underneath the hive mind to coordinate all those weapon attacks. So even though they have 10 ice stalks, they don't necessarily have enough beholder to do anything with it, depending on the size of the crew. Which is small comfort to anybody that happens to run across one of these. But yeah, they are a nightmare ship. I mean, just the fact that they have 10 weapons that they can use if properly equipped is basically up to caveat of the DM of, yeah, we're going to have this beholder ship attacking you and just trashing your ship. And that's a lot of damage coming your way each round. I mean, that's potentially 1,000 damage a round that this thing can do, which if your pilot is mitigating is 100 damage per round because you're reducing because you're dropping the times 10 variable when your pilot takes the damage for the ship. But still, even still, on average, it's going to be 50 damage per round that you're taking. So this is the Tyrant ship remains in scale. Like, all this stuff still remains in scale. That since everything is just multiplied by 10, it's easy to figure out the CR of something that your team can take on. Which I think is really fun. It sure makes the system simple. Oh man, I'm liking those. Post-edit wrap-up is coming along nicely. I think realistically we're going to be able to start working on layout on Saturday. Thursday night we're doing Eberron Graveyard. Tomorrow morning, we're going to continue doing Spelljammer token production. Friday morning, we're going to continue with Spelljammer production. And then, you know what? Honestly, I don't know about Friday. My gut is telling me right now that Friday morning is going to be Eberron Graveyard to continue whatever it is that we do Thursday night. That kind of makes sense. But Saturday, I think it's fairly realistic that we're going to, unless there's any post-edit revisions that aren't intended to, I think we can be on stream on Saturday. Just starting to poke around the document, looking at page layout and stuff. So not sure. Again, I'm not sure how that's going to flow or if it's going to be good content or not, but there'll at least be some. So let's get rid of that and see what's going on with this guy. Wait, what? What's going on with you, buddy? What is that all about? Get back here. Smooth jazz. Get that weird little tag hanging out there. Yeah, find where that is. Damn it. No, that doesn't work. Where is that tag coming from? Oh my god, you're freaking driving me crazy. There it is. Thank you. This one's less of a tragedy than last time. That's at least a gain. I'm having less trouble building this one than I have with the hammer ship. So improvement. God, that hammer ship was a tragedy. I was wrecking that thing so bad. It's nice that I got the backslide to something so easily symmetrical. What a forgiving try again. Back with coloration, and then I just want to make sure that it's just kind of sitting proper, you know. Oh my gourd, I got another one over here. Okay, that lines up. Let's go fix this other stupid thing. Love this song. it. I don't seem to. Oh, I'm tired. I know that's what's going on. I got the sleep inside my head still. I read late last night. No rest for the wicked. Once we get this general outline figured out and blended in, then we'll go back through with, let's color it again. Obviously, that's what I'm going to do. But with a black silhouette system that we're using, we don't really need to futz with this stuff in the black and white. It's just this is little bits that poke out on the side that show off the, you know, obviously where they are. And I got the central eye there, just I guess for iconography. Yeah, that's the word. We'll go with that. Silhouette recognition is not the official term, but it's the thing that I'm thinking about. Like the silhouettes of these things all have to be unique, so that if you're using the black and white tokens, it's pretty easy for us to figure out which one is what we're looking at offhand. I think, you know, the DM doesn't have to guess that much when he plucks a token from the stack. But we'll be building we also have to build the deck plan, the official deck plans for the crafts, the small craft ships, and as well as building tokens for them. So we'll be doing that as well. Oh yeah, we're coming along. I ain't complaining. I ain't complaining at all about where we are at right now. Okay, that's pretty good. So then let's build something on top of that. Wow. Wow. Could do like that. The background, I recognize this background green is throwing off my colors some, but I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with that. Oh my god, my nose is so drippy. Be like that fade. I like that fade a lot. Yeah, something like that. That feels about right. Nice, thank you. Man, okay, cool. I think I'm okay with that. And we'll put the eyeballs on at the end. The googly balls. I'm really liking that. I think that looks pretty good. So the ones that are like this one's a lot shorter than this one, we can resolve that with foreshortening by having the shade here. You can see that this is curving around the side of the ship, on the side of the ship, but this is staying at the top and highlight, so it should look like it's coming forward more, which means it's top side lifting upward. So it has more visibility. To the side of the ship, and once we get these gradients resolved, then we can put a little grit on it, just to rough up their texture a little bit, so they seem less tapeworm and more part of this. I don't know the right language here. There we go. My gut is telling me to say, hey, if you're new and you're checking this thing out, I'm here every day except for Sunday. So I'm consistently producing these tokens. We've got the book that these are coming along with. Should be publishing next couple months. I think April is realistic. I'm feeling the momentum of the project. So I think we're going to be able to have this out in April, and that's going to feel great. If I end up swinging with a miss in May, I think that's close. Just May's feeling a little, I don't know. We'll see how ground down into how long it actually takes for me to produce assets and stuff. So it could be May. I think that's possible. I don't want it to be May. I want it done in April, but I don't know. I don't know if I'll have the firepower to pull that off or not. I've got a vacation in June, so I'll be offline for a whole week. So I'm hoping this thing publishes before then. We'll see. There is no technical deadline for any of this stuff. Now that all the OGL crisis stuff is out of the way, I can relax and just build. I think this is all resolved really nicely for us. There's so much asset production that goes into adventure stuff. Like, the supplement would be a real easy lift, if I didn't have the whole Light of Xeraxis thing, but the whole point of this book is because of Light of Xeraxis. So it doesn't make sense for me to publish this without all of these additional adventure assets, like all these map assets and stuff, because that was the whole point. The whole point of publishing on DMsGuild is because we have a means of making Light of Xeraxis do more mechanically than what they originally was having Light of Xeraxis do. So I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah. Okay, so let's get back into this. And well, that's kind of a hot mess now. So let's go back to here and it seems like the right way to do. Let's go back to do this again. Let's do that. Let's do that down here instead. Copy paste. There we go. Okay. That's not a bad idea. I do like that. And then we can drop another one in here. How big is that area? 30 times. It's 2 pixels. Okay, so that's 15 feet. That is a bit bigger. Something like that. So let's get the rest of this back in here. So we can start assessing how these things sit. Woo! Okay, cool. Let's just see about blending this guy in. So, more of the same, right? Neighbors upstairs are doing some morning wrestling. God bless them. can. Something like that, I think we can get away with. All right, yeah, let's do like that. Let's see how that sits. Still got an hour. Oh my god, that's great. We should have this finished and move on to the next thing. The aesthetic creature and the Rieger battle that happens in chapter I want to say chapter 4 before the team. Well, I gotta fix my padding. There's Riegers are basically like fighting Fae, and like spaceborne combat Fae that are like dervishes, or they revel in battle the same way that Merilith do, except that instead of being fiends, they're Faes. Is basically the best way I can describe what a Rieger is. And they have aesthetics, which are jellyfish creatures that are 50 feet square. Like if we pan out here and get it like 50, that's a 50-foot square. It's like they have these jellyfishes that they fly around inside of and attack ships and shit. So there's the aesthetic is both a ship and a creature, but it doesn't operate independently of the Rieger. So it's like when I talk about like a living ship companion. The aesthetic is kind of that for the Rieger NPC creatures. But that is one of the tokens that has been on my mind a lot. Like if I were to stop doing ship tokens, I would create an aesthetic. So I'm thinking maybe tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but maybe Friday, if we don't do Ebron, we build the aesthetic token, which is again both a creature token and a ship token. So we want to build it so that it complies with both the shape and imagery that we have for the ship tokens that we've been building, as like a top-down view, but also stay true to the tokens that we've been creating, which are not necessarily. I mean, well, the scabbers were, when we built the scabbers, they were top-down. That's true. But most of the other creature tokens that we created were more like traditional illustrations. I don't know why I did that. Oh, it's because all those creatures are small enough to fit inside of a 50-foot square, except for the Gondori, which could fit in 100. But yeah, the scabbers I have like overhead like the ship tokens, but for most of the other tokens, I'm doing more of a traditional illustration. I don't know why I chose to do that. Honestly, it's just where it's where my gut led me. So I guess we gotta follow the muse and do what she wants. So. Yeah, okay, I'm happy with that. It's a little asymmetrical, but that's asteroids for you. So now we can add this stuff in. Yeah, we've been working on the cemetery map on off screen on the side, and I'm pretty happy with how it's coming along. It's we're starting to figure out the common look between the graveyard and the water flow and the flooded fort. We were having some consistency issues about the language that we were using about the underground water flowing, the top ground flowing, and the at the fort versus what we had evolved. The puddles, the cemetery flooded areas. There was some inconsistency in the language there, but I think we've resolved it for the most part. At least I'm getting pretty happy with it. So still a learning experience, but we'll have a look at that tomorrow night for sure. I'm really happy with the progress that we're making on that map. So, hey, timely timer. Look how close to done we are. I can do some bold dark trim on these things once I'm done with this stacking here. So I think this is going to turn out well. Just use a little bit of black to separate the form, the structure of the form a little bit more. Bop, 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 wow! Woo. Woo! Gotta say the grinding halt of most of the third-party 5 development circle really makes everything tense for a while. Yeah, it really did. Watching a sub-industry paralyze itself while it waits for the whale to move. It's a sobering experience. I think it was, God, I want to say it was, who did it? It was it Dungeon Craft that put a poll on, I think it was on YouTube. About 1,000 people responded to it. Like a good 775 of them said that despite all this, they're gonna probably continue playing D&D. It's like, that sounds about right. Because most people don't care about the third-person drama, like the third-party drama at all. Like you gotta be in the D&D scene to have cared about it at all in the first place, and most consumers just don't. So we'll see what happens. Excuse me, nose. We'll see what happens as 1D&D continues to develop. Like WotC really, I kind of admire the swagger, like the almost the foolish confidence that WotC has with releasing the CCG. I mean, it was a great way to sate the mob's anger right before a movie. Like I think that Creative Commons was shut up and watch our movie. Like, I mean, if that's what it takes, that's kind of like what a strike is about, right? I mean, if you strike and you get your demands, you don't freaking quit your job. You make those demands because you want to keep working at your job. So it's I think this this pushback on the OGL netting us the Creative Commons is a great example of basically union bargaining or collective bargaining, using economic power of saying no to D&D Beyond to help drive in and get more license exposure for us. CCG isn't something that I think anybody expected. But it's a really great way to considering how little money is on the line with D&D licensing compared to what happens if Paramount gets left holding the bag on the production cost of the D&D movie. Like that's like people are going to lose hands, sort of mafia up front. Like you cost us this much. We're going to take a couple digits from you. And so I don't think they want to have their hand on the table like that. So then giving up the CCG was an easy way for everybody to keep their hands intact at the end of this movie deal. But I mean, hey, perfect storm, perfect time, perfect moment. If you're going to make demands, you should make them when the person that you make those demands of are down and at risk. So I think the community did really well in the pushback, and it really just helped lock down how much noise can we actually make. Hopefully, I really hope that the video game consumer base looks at what happened here, or at least catches wind of it and recognizes that they can demand more from video games as well, just by not buying them. Like, I think Forspoken has been summarily rejected. Not that I am not a video game. I like the idea of video games. I have zero time to invest in video games. Like, just the just the amount of time I spend in production building stuff like this, like that's a real paradox, you know. If you spend all of your time producing stuff and don't actually ever play anything, then what's the point of actually creating all the stuff? Luckily for me, I've got a consistent D&D campaign that I play every week, as well as playtest stuff as well. So I've got one and a half ish, 2 tables that I run with, depending on who I've got playtesting with me right now. But which is really fortunate for me, because I know there's a lot of people that don't get to play at all. But the point is that I don't invest time in playing video games, so I like to keep an eye on them, just so I know what the hell is going on. I'm pretty happy with how that's looking. I think there needs to be more shadow. I'm gonna pull this out, put it in its own thing. Cinch that up. Yeah, we're just gonna do some highlights. We're gonna do highlights and form shadow. We got a half hour. I think we got this thing locked down. We might be able to begin the next one. The trick I'm worried about is that a couple of my projects, such as Short Adventure, I've got in the vault for now, are pretty much locked into 5e, so I don't know how to continue development. Really? I mean, were these things that you were originally planning on putting on the DMs Guild and now you're questioning that? Or were you always planning on them being independent? Because if you're planning on them being independent, CCG, the Creative Commons license is an easy go. And then dropping them on the DTRTG and anywhere else that you wanted to put them, as per normal. That hasn't changed at all. Most of the big people on the DMs Guild haven't really seen any loss of revenue. So the D&D community as the independent, the supplement buying, the supplement consumer crowd apparently hasn't gone anywhere during all this for DMs Guild stuff. There was certainly a reduction in product production on DMs Guild for a couple weeks there, but that doesn't seem to be a long-term loss. Like people are pretty much returning to the DMs Guild like immediately. So there is no change there. But I mean, it's obviously if that's not where you're going, then now the Creative Commons out, there's no changes at all. It's just a matter. It's always been an issue of, are you going to net more sales? The first question is always, is the IP that you're using something that's owned by Wizards of the Coast, or is it your own? And if the answer is it's your own, then you can put it anywhere you want. If it's Wizards, then obviously it goes on a DMs Guild. But you're talking about stuff that's independently produced, that's adjacent, D&D adjacent, 5e content compliant, which means that you've always had the option of either DMs Guild or someplace else. And then someplace else could be either like fan content on Patreon, or just posting a GM binder and then showing off to your friends on Reddit or whatever. Or you can publish the DTRPG and put it up on like Twitch.io to try to fish sales from it. Now with the Creative Commons license available for us, then there is absolutely no restriction whatsoever on where you can just go back. You can just go back as intended to post on DTRPG and Twitch.io or whatever. I can't remember the IO whatever that marketplace is that 5e content just doesn't sell on. But if you're concerned about backlash or lack of interest, then it's apparently not really actually changing at all in comparison to where it was a month ago. So, like, if your product wasn't going to do well a month ago, it's still not going to do well. Because like if you don't have the fan base, you don't have a fan base. So that's honestly that's why I've evolved in the direction that I've evolved into, is because I don't have enough personal momentum to make anything non-DM's Guild productive. Like I could put things on Patreon. I have 2 Patreons, so like if I build stuff and I put it on Patreon, sure, it's mine forever, but no one's ever going to see it. So the way that I evolved my own personal portfolio is to start. I decided that DM's Guild is where there's a lot of default business happening for people that are D&D or 5e enthusiasts. So me being on the DM's Guild made sense for me personally. And then while I'm hanging out on the DM's Guild, I'm like, well, you know what? I could be doing things independently, but I'm not. So I need to be leveraging the IP, which is the only reason why you'd be on the DM, which really is the only reason to be on DM's Guild, is because you want to build things that complement Wizards of the Coast content that already exists. Like me doing this conversion for Light as Araxis, for instance. That's a perfect reason why you would want to publish something on DM's Guild. But if that's not what you're doing, and you're confident in being able to build your own audience, then the DM's Guild is a loss. It's just a loss of money for you. If you don't have any audience, then the DM's Guild, as their handy as the chart that's being thrown around right now amongst the aggregates will show you, there really is a built-in audience on DM's Guild of people that are interested in third-person content, but don't necessarily want to just dive off into Kickstarter content or Reddit stuff. There is apparently a little bit of, even though maybe it's not deserved, clout that goes into DMsGuild content, because it is specifically tailor-made to play with D&D content as is. Even though the people that publish there may not necessarily actually agree with that concept and maybe building like just stupid broken stuff, it's still being marketed under the guise of you can actually use this with D&D. So if that's your goal, DMsGuild has always been a big profit eater, but the actual value that you get out of being present there is warranted. Like, I wouldn't have sold 500. I wouldn't have sold. I'm like at 460 some odd copies sold of the core mechanics book. There's no way I would have sold 460 copies of that by putting it on my Patreon or by posting it in James Binder and then posting it up on Reddit. It's like I get sales for my Color Mana system because it's on the DMsGuild. If like 6 years from now I build up enough of an audience of folks that just like my work because they like me, I could probably continue creating Ravnica content just on my Patreon and be able to probably retain sales and actually build momentum. But I don't, like, this stream is an effort for me to start building that fan base of people that just get what I'm doing and like where I'm at and want to support me. But unless they see what I'm doing, they would never know. So the DMsGuild is a place that you can build momentum from, and I am obviously a staunch advocate of that. I think it's a horrible cut in profits, but if you have no way, like if you don't know how you would possibly sell 500 copies of anything that you're producing, then the DMsGuild's a viable place to go. Good. I've been worried about that, but things haven't changed much. I may have to get back to some on Project Cap. But you gotta take a breath. And when the industry has an upset, that's a great chance for folks just to relax a little bit and not take it so seriously for a moment and just reevaluate where they're at, so that when they pick up the load of design again, because of course we're going to pick up that load again, because the reason we're doing it in the first place is because we're compelled to create this content. It's just a matter of when, right? So take your time, relax, appreciate. For small fries like us, we can take a moment and appreciate that our mortgage doesn't depend on this shit. So hold on real quick, I gotta blow my nose. That's the problem with most third-party creators, like these big creators. They have staff, they have benefits, they have dental plans. And when the industry turns sideways, it's really freaking hard to tell, am I going to make my mortgage payment next month or not? I worked at a medical billing company that fell behind in their payroll. They were just floating too much liquid. Or I don't know exactly what the problem was, but they were, apparently their owners were pulling out more capital than they should have, so they weren't able to make payroll 1 week. And there was a staff, there's like 7 of us, and 3 of them freaked the fuck out because they were like, how am I supposed to make my mortgage payment next month? And this was like when I was like 24, I want to say, and I'm like, Jesus, this people really do live paycheck to paycheck. So when there's an upset in the industry, it's scary. It's super scary for folks that made commitments and promises and tried to build a life, and that, that whole thing just gets shunted on them. I think coders are going to see that with AI here in the next 3 or 4 years. Like, that's gonna be scary as shit. But I think we're all going to, I don't know. I'm an optimist, so I like to think that all this technological advancement is ultimately going to lead us to having basic income provided, because otherwise we're just going to be rioting in the streets all the time because we're bored. so the government's going to have to do something just to quell just the amount of unemployed people. Like, when you have a bunch of men that are unemployed, they tend to turn into mobs and attack stuff. So providing income enough to keep people from being angry, it's not a bad idea. I'm gonna conceal that for a moment. Conceal the stalks, make sure I know where I'm at. Thank you, Timely Timer. Where are we at? Yeah, we still got 20 some odd minutes. This is our, okay, so this is gonna be our last 20-minute stretch. Luckily, we are at the end of our tyrant. Gonna flex with this shading just for a little while, just because I got a little time. I'm not really gonna get anything else going on right now. So I'm just gonna mess with shading like I like to do. A little less sharp. A little less sharp. That's right, I got the eye stalks to do. I got the eyeballs. Gotta do the eyeballs. We'll get to those here in a second. We'll get to those in a second. Here are those fuzzy feet out there on the edges. All right, cool. And I think I'm going to go with I did this one already? That's hard for me to tell. There you go. Cool. All right, let's do our color check. Yeah, okay. bit. There we go. Top view, iTyrant. I think I want a little more. A little more down around the rim. Here to here. Yeah. Blend that in a touch. I just want to have a little more highlight, or a little more dichotomy, a little darker around the edges. Doesn't have to be a lot. Oof, I'm really racing the clock now. There. This last timer's gonna pop off here, like probably not 4 or 5 minutes, but I think we're done. Drop the opacity on that just a bit. And start stitching the shut here to here. Hurdy. Good. Cool. All right. I deemed this good enough. Same size, vastly different firepower. 2 little weapons here on the Damselfly. 10 ice salt cannons. No chance of survival. Anyway. Done dicking around, guys. All right, cool. Hey, that's the Tyrant. That is Dunzo. So super cool, man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to go, and then we got 6 small craft that we also have to still do. So we got some stuff to do here, y'all. Here's the lamprey, living ship, nautiloid, night spider, huge. What was it? The Shrike. Shrike's pretty cool. Space galleon, squid ship, star moth. Star moth is cool as fuck. Turtle ship, wasp. We've got a D10, so let's. We got 10 dice left. We got 10 ships left. We've got 10-sided die. Let's throw the die and see what we land with. 2. So let's go back up top. 1, 2. That's the living ship. So when we come back tomorrow morning, we'll work on the living ship. I'll be away this evening. Yeah, so that's stream for the day. So I'm gonna go ahead and just hit save. When we come back, we will work on the living ship as stated, and yeah. So tomorrow morning, living ship. Tomorrow evening, more Eberron cemetery map production. And then Friday morning, we'll grab bag it, and then hopefully on Saturday we'll have an opportunity to do first look at layouts. Not positive that's going to happen. I don't want to promise myself that, but it's getting there. It's just doing a few tweaks on the document, some revisions I know need to be made, and then yeah, we're gonna move forward. So man, I'm excited. Super excited. Like, subscribe, check out my books down below in the description, a DM's Guild link. Follow me on Twitter so you can see when I'm going live. Like, comment, let me know what you guys got going on, and I will be looking forward to catching up with y'all tomorrow morning. So, later.